everybody, it's me, Scuba Sitch, and I'm on the road right now, and the reason being, I was thinking way too hard about this Guardians review, so I figured, why not set aside all my thoughts and just do it on the go. At the end of the day, it's still a fun vibe from the first movie, and that's why I was thinking way too hard about this movie. I couldn't really pick out anything that I didn't like, so let's just talk about what I thought about the movie and some of the things that I really liked. The vibe that we have from the first movie is with us for this movie as well, so expect to be laughing throughout the entirety of the movie. I think all the characters have their bright spots. Baby Groot, every time he's on screen, when are you not laughing? I think Peter Quill, even though his story is kind of at the forefront, I think he's okay in this movie. Gamora has some interactions with both Peter and Nebula in this movie, and I think that their relations with characters and character development, I think that those two things James Gunn handled pretty well in this movie. Drax, I think Drax kind of takes a backseat in this movie. I feel like he was so funny in the first movie that he's again very funny in this movie, but his name is Drax the Destroyer, and he's not really destroying a lot of shit in this movie. I think he does one thing in the first couple of minutes in the movie, and then he's kind of just sitting back cracking jokes. And I think it works for the movie. I don't think everyone needs to be, brawling out like a Royal Rumble, but every character fit their purpose, and I think Drax fits his purpose as well. I want to talk about Yondu and Rocket, because I think that them two was surprising. I think that them two had a surprising relation to this movie. Something I didn't see coming. I think that we learn a lot about Rocket and we learn a lot about Yondu, and I think that ultimately, I think Yondu's story arc is kind of the best in the movie. Even though we're expecting something with Ego and Gamora and Peter Quill, I think that it's easily Yondu that has the best arc in the movie. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at that. But I want to talk about Ego because he's played by Russell Crowe. I want to talk about Kurt Russell, who plays Ego in this movie, who is Peter Quill's dad, and I will leave it at that, just in case. I didn't really watch any of the other trailers. I don't know if it spoils where this movie goes. Every time he's on screen, he's explaining something, and it's not even like he's just telling you this, that, and the third, in a couple of sentences. He's kind of telling you his whole life story in every scene that he's in, so it kind of sucks. His character is kind of very one-dimensional. Every time, like I said, every time he's on screen, he's explaining something. He's just that exposition character, and it sucks because it is Kurt Russell, but that's just how the movie played out. Some of the cameos, some of the comic book references had me shitting myself. It was crazy. I was actually astonished at some of the references that we got in this movie. Going forward in this cosmic universe rather, that Marvel's in right now, it can only be fun, and it can only I think that it only means well for what we're gonna get in the future involving Infinity War. Like I said, what's his name? Holy shit! Relax. Relax, bro. The man was stopped. James Gunn takes his characters and he knows how to build them, and he did that very well in this movie. I didn't really know where the movie was going for the first act and kind of in between the second act. I think that once we see Yondu in the movie, I think that that's when the movie kind of kicks into a next gear. And I think that that's when we get a clear sense of where this movie's going, because we get some big revelations, and I think that that's when we eventually find out, in a story perspective, where this thing is going. It kind of starts to find its feet at that point. So yeah, it's not a huge negative. Like I said, this movie's fun throughout, so it's never going to be a type of thing where you're like, oh my god, I can't pay attention, because these characters are just having fun on screen. And going forward with Volume 3 and Infinity War, stuff like that, we can only expect great things, especially with James Gunn at the helm and the Russo brothers once they get into Infinity War. I couldn't think of anything that I really hated about this movie. I liked it a lot. That sounds very generic, but I did love this movie. I've seen it twice, and I would see it multiple more times. It's just a fun movie throughout. That being said, I do think you should go out and see Guardians. It'll be well worth your money. If I were to give this a grade, I didn't really think of a grade, but I think that this movie falls somewhere in the 8 realm. It's 8.5, somewhere to 8.5 or just an 8. That's where I think. I want to mention that the soundtrack, I like the soundtrack a lot. It's not as good as the first one, but I did like the soundtrack in this movie. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I am Scuba Sitch from the 5th Row. Thank you for watching another one of my videos. I'm gone.